Hi everyone, this is Selena Kraus and welcome to the Home for the Holidays Stamp of Approval uh, video hub. And in this video, we'll make a couple cards using the Stamp of Approval collection stamps and dies. So here's the quick peek of both cards that we'll be making today, using 3 of the stamp sets and 1 of the coordinating dies. So let's get started. First, I'm using the Christmas cookie stamp set along with the coordinating dies, and I'll be using the bird image along with the sentiment. So I'm starting with die cutting that bird image using premium white cardstock by Catherine Puller Designs. I'll just run that quickly through my die cutting machine. I have a mini one here on my desk, so it's easier to fit it on my desk when I do videos. So next, what I'm doing, I'm applying VersaMark ink all over that die cut image, and I'm using some sticky note to make a little handle, and I'm applying sand dunes wow embossing powder. I wanted the image to look like a sugar cookie, so the sand dunes embossing powder seemed to be most fitting for it. So I embossed it once and heat set it. Now we're going second time. Again, I applied the VersaMark ink and then applied the embossing powder. We're going for third time, and then you can build up as many layers as you would like. I went with 4 layers, and then we're gonna stamp on top of it with the coordinating stamp. So I'm using the negative and I'm using my Misty. You can use acrylic block. I just decided to go with the Misty to have perfectly positioned image there. So I'm just positioned to be able to stamp a couple times because the surface of the embossing powder of that image is a little bit rough. So I stamped that outline image, and then I poured some red embossing powder to kind of mimic the icing on the cookie. Then I quickly heat set it. Make sure that your heat tool is nice and hot before you apply to your die cut, so it doesn't cause mixing of those 2 embossing powders, so they don't kind of blend into each other. Next, I die cut the same image from found foam. I wanted to add a little bit dimension to mimic again the cookie. And then I'm adhering that image onto the found foam and putting an acrylic block on top to press it down and dry flat so it doesn't warp from the moisture of the adhesive that I added to my die cut. Next, I'm trimming another white panel down to 3 3/4 by 5 inches, and I will stamp the sentiment from the same stamp set. I'm just positioning it there. I'm using my Misty. You can use your acrylic block. The Misty was on my desk, so I decided to take advantage of that. And next, I'm using the Rockin red ink to stamp that. So I'll let that aside. I'll set that aside, and I'm using top folding note card that I'll adhere my panel, but I want it to be red, so I'm using again the Rockin red ink pad to create custom color card base. So I'm just directly applying ink to paper around the edges of that note card that I created. So here is that when it dries, the color will even out. So next, I'm positioning everything to see if I like that, and I'm using another piece of fun foam to adhere the panel onto my card base. So I'm adding some strong adhesive. I'm using Fast Fuse or Tombow Extreme adhesive, and the other layer I'm using the Nuva or any liquid adhesive. Then I'll use again liquid adhesive to adhere that bird image onto my card. I'll put again my acrylic block and let it dry. So here's a little quick pic of the card. So now let's move to the next card. I'll be using the festive trimming and the holiday mix messages for this card, and we're gonna create a wreath with the small images. So in order to create the wreath, we're gonna draw our guidelines. So you need a ruler and you need a compass or any other circle surface that you can draw a circle with onto your panel. I cut down my panel from white cardstock down to 4 by 5 1/4, and then I'm drawing a vertical line at 2 inches, like in the middle of the paper. Then I'm drawing a horizontal line 2 inches from the bottom. So I'm using my cutting mat under my cardstock as a guideline to kind of line up everything. So I drew that horizontal line in 2 inches. I'm going 4 inches down and I'm marking the edges there. I'm putting little dots with my pencil. Next, I will connect the top left corner with that mark on the right side to create a diagonal line, and this line will run through the middle to the center that we created drawing the horizontal and vertical line. I'm going the opposite way now. I'm connecting the top right with the bottom left point there. So we have here created 4 lines that will split a circle into 8 parts. So I have here a compass. Again, you can use any other circle surface you have. I just had a compass and I can center it perfectly in the middle here in that intersection point. So I'm drawing that circle. Again, I have a pencil in my compass, and you will see that your circle now is split in 8. So you are going to use this as a guide to stamp your images. You're going to stamp each image at 8 times around that circle, making sure that each time you stamp it in the same spot of that 8 of a circle. So I'm starting with the largest image, and I'm using the Eucalyptus ink pad. I'm going around the circle and I'm stamping it each once in each section. Next, I'll go with the twig image, the little kind of with berries, and I'll be using the Rockin red ink pad for that. So before that, I decided to actually stamp the little bell first. I'm using the Twilight ink pad for that, and I'm going again 8 times around the circle and making sure that they're all symmetrical. Next, we'll do the little twig, and I'll be using the Rockin red ink pad for that. I'm gonna stamp between the little green branches there. So you can see how this wreath is starting to create and looks more full. Next, I'm using a little bit different branch, and I'm using the Aquatini ink pad. Again, I'm going in the circle and stamping all around. So we have that. Now I let it dry, and then using eraser, I erased the pencil marks. So in the meantime, I decided to change that. The Aquatini twig was too large, so I decided to stamp the little heart instead of it. So by magic of YouTube, that's changed. And now I'm stamping the little dots that come with the stamp dots that come in the set. I'm using Tiara, and I'll stamp like in different colors, Tiara and Aquatini. I'm just again making sure everything is symmetrical. I'm stamping it 8 times around in the circle, and then I'm going with the Aquatini, the single dot, and again stamping it 8 times. I'm going one more time. This is with the Rockin red ink, kind of adding more interest to my image. Next, we'll stamp the sentiment. So I'm adhering it, not really adhering, but I'm picking it up with acrylic block, with the round acrylic block, and I'm using the midnight ink to stamp that in the center of the wreath. So just press down nicely, and here's our image. Next, I have piece of midnight cardstock. It's 4 1/4 by 11. I'll score it at 5 1/2 and fold it in half to create a top folding note card. Next, I'll add some fun foam on the back of my panel that we stamped, and to pop that panel up onto the note card to add a little bit interest. because it's kind of one layer flat card. And next I'll add a little bit embellishments to my wreath. I'm using glitter pen to add a little bit shimmer on the Aquatini hearts. Next I'm using some lacquer pen to add a little bit shine onto the bells. So I'm just making sure that it's all applied nicely, so when it dries it's nice and shiny and has a flat surface. It doesn't have bumps or holes in it. So again, I'm going all around this circle and applying to all 8 of the bells. So we have the 7th, and this is the last 8th one. So lastly, I'm using some red Nuvo drops to add a little bit little berries to the little red twigs for, again, a little bit extra dimension of our card. So I'm just doing that one by one and going around the circle, around the wreath. So after you're done, make sure that you set it to dry before you handle your card. So this finishes your card. Now it's time to head to the next person in this video help. You will find the link to their YouTube video in the description of my video below here. As well, we have a giveaway. We'll be giving away one stamp of approval, and you must comment on all videos and be subscribed to all channels in order to win. You must leave a comment by midnight on Thursday, September 20th, and the prizes will be announced on Monday, September 24th on Catherine's blog. Thanks for watching, and see you soon in another video. Bye!